Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Mitchell. This is Mayday Arms, if you didn't know. This is Cody from KGSG. Today we're going to do a quick discussion. I guess we're going to call it tactical discussion or tactics and whatnot.
Might not turn out to be too quick, but yeah, we'll see.
But basically we're just going to free roll it and go for it. We're going to give you a little bit information about ourselves and our accomplishments,
backgrounds
where we
to why
we might know a little bit of things. We'll start with Cody.
Let's see. I have a degree in gunsmithing from Colorado School of Trades. I have been in the firearms industry for coming up on 6 years now. I've done different carbine courses. A really interesting one I did was a home invasion / home protection force on force with sim guns course. That's interesting. A little bit of background in martial arts, stuff like that. So.
Okay. Also, when he says he's been in the industry, it's not that he's worked at freaking Walmart or something like that. We actually do work at a qualifiable store.
We do. Our store does government sales and stuff like that. So
we're not going to name them because we don't get paid to do this. So no. All right. So my background. I guess we'll start from the beginning. I'm a United States Marine Corps reservist. Yeah, Pogue. I understand this, but I did go to boot camp. I did go to MCT. They teach you like basic stuff that. Right when I got done with it, I was like, oh, not for me. I really don't see the application for it, and I know that those were the basic skills. From there, I went to Gang Mountain Training Academy. I started working there, probably May of 2016, and then I finally moved up and left there in January 2017. So from there, I was pretty much the entire time learning personal defense skills and how to teach people tactics and stuff like that. I wouldn't really call them tactics, basically just keeping your ass alive if you ever are in that critical incident. Other than that,
you also have your certs?
Yeah, so when I was there, I had to get my NRA basic pistol instructor cert, Kansas concealed carry instructor cert. I also have done the CLS thing through the Marine Corps, CLS program through the Marine Corps. Done rifle qual and all that shit. Other than that, I think that's about it. I've only been technically in the industry, if you want to call it that, since 2016. Like honestly, like following it and trying to learn stuff. I dealt more into like the implication or how do you utilize your weapons in the critical incident rather than what stuff do you buy to increase your skill set and skill level. So on that note, we're going to talk about the differences, or we're going to discuss the differences in little minute things that you might see in the industry. For instance, for wanting this, all firearms have been cleared and everything. So we're going to talk about, this is Cody's rolling special. Yeah. It's so weird pointing at fucking a TV screen. Alright, so it's fucking empty. Anyways, so what I'm talking about, I was never taught or told this or told by an instructor to do this, and that is release the slide by pushing down on your slide lock, sending it forward. I've always been taught the overhand rack method, grab on top, pull it back to its full extension, pushing that while that is being depressed and releasing. That's how I've been taught to manipulate a firearm, especially a striker fired pistol during a critical incident and so on. I've never been told to use the slide lock or to push down, and I believe that was never a thing, even from the manufacturer's perspective. They always use it as to lock the slide up. Now there are instances where you would want to use it. I've seen them used in competition shooting, where say you do bobble it or mess it up, or your gun fails to get that round all the way in, you can get a do-over and redo the stage. I have seen that. I've seen it to where it's more of a speed drill rather than you need your gun to work drill. Although most guns I've seen, when you do that, they do go in battery to begin with.
How many times have you seen it not work?
I've seen it. Bree did it on my MP shield.
Okay.
And it did not work. The main thing.
And what did you do to fix that? Was it just a tap rack thing?
Freaking overhand rack. Yeah, just tapped and racked it. But one reason why I do believe what issues it could have when it doesn't work would be after you've been shooting it quite a lot and there's debris and carbon buildup in that chamber. It should work on pretty much most clean guns, honestly. It's the same debate as with on your AR-15. You push the slide, the bolt catch. Some insurers call it bolt catch and release. Hit that and it goes forward rather than pulling back on the charging handle and charging the weapon. But say you can't get to you don't have, I don't know. Why would you use
quite a few
that?
Few points on this.
We'll go.
For one, weapon's still clear. I have the Tango Down extended slide lock and release on my gun. I tend to actually use my front side serrations for reloading my gun. It just seems to be more natural, and economy of motion comes into play a little bit there. Instead of coming back here, power stroking it, overhand rack, I can come up, fully extend, slide is released, and then as that's happening, my hand's rotating back onto a firing grip. I've never had an issue just releasing my slide like that, especially with the extended slide lock.
Yeah.
Now what I can see is, on a standard Glock handgun, is it's pretty slick, and it's entirely possible that old Gaston did not... You alright?
No, I'm going to leave this one.
Oh, did not design it to be a slide release. But with the improvements, never seen an issue out of my guns with it. What I have seen quite a few times happening is where it comes into being issues on 1911s. I don't know why, but it just seems like...
So with a 1911, if you haven't looked at the feed ramps on them, it's a two-piece feed ramp. Unlike on modern striker fire handguns, even Glocks and regular 9mm, where your feed ramp is all one piece, like that, on a 1911, it takes your frame.
What are your feed ramps in your frame?
Part of your feed ramps in there, and also the round is a bigger bore, so when it is going in to your barrel, it's hitting lower and pushing up higher, and that's where it stops. And then it has to come back down, whereas a 9mm is going to be a little bit more.
A lot of times you'll see a malfunction with the round coming straight up at this angle into the upper portion of the slide or the barrel. A couple other things is you do have a little bit more advantage in, not inertia, but the mass of the slide, energy of the slide from coming from here,
so it would be,
or coming from...
I think it'd be inertia. No,
that little bit further back.
We'll hit up Isaac Newton.
Yeah.
For that damn thing. One thing that I have seen, or that we haven't tested, is shooting in cold weather. I haven't tested because I've always been in indoor range all nice and stuff. Cold weather, I have seen, specifically, I'll say this, I've seen specifically with females, when they are shooting and they've been told to hit that, when you put them in a home protection plan scenario where it's like kind of a stress scenario. But anyways, they either can't do that because they're just so freaked out. Also, I think it's easier to grab a slide like so and rack rather than push on that little button. But that is all, you can train yourself to do it, just like how I think Travis Hayes said the loss of dexterity in your hands is bullcrap, because if you're a heart surgeon, you still have that stress going through your body, but you still can make those precise cuts and stuff.
Same thing like fighter pilot can press a bunch of little buttons in combat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that that's mostly a training issue, and
Yeah.
also lack of strength in people's hands. And it doesn't have to be necessarily a female, although we do see it there a lot. People who have had hand injuries, arthritis.
Sheet metal workers, they're always cutting shears to cut their sheet metal. When they get older, they'll have tendonitis. I think it's tendonitis to their entire forearm, to where it's harder for them to make and grasp stuff. I've seen that.
So
it's not just women. Honestly, females pick up skills faster than a guy who's been trained all the time through some other crap. I think those are called training scars.
Training scars.
Yeah.
I think it's just mostly either a disposition to where they can't manipulate it due to a physical condition, albeit not being strong enough, or an injury, or just lack of training, not knowing muscle memory, not knowing where the slide lock release is. Another thing is one-handed manipulations, is it can be used for that. Like on my gun, I got a giant RMR to rack off of.
Yeah.
And I did a lot too. It's not gonna hurt it.
I mean, if you do hurt it, you just send it back to the factory. It doesn't fucking matter.
So I can rack it off my holster, and I've done that. Rack it off my belt, rack it off my pants.
One thing. Keep going.
But I mean, for whatever reason, if you can't do that, and if you're in some odd position, and this is all you have,
you'll be able to do it.
You should be able to do that. It is a viable way of releasing it, in my opinion.
Now, one instance where I know you cannot rack off your belt or off objects is with the MP shield. With the standard sights. Standard sights. Smith & Wesson, if you designed this to be a defensive pistol, you should put claw sights on it, like the SIG P320. They actually did a good job on the sights. It's actually cut out like a hook. You can hook shit in there and rack it. This stuff, it's just like nothing.
Well, I think that was designed to be slick from coming out of a concealment, not to snag on anything, even though it's at the wrong angle.
Yeah. But yes, the only sites I've seen where they would fix this would be the claw sights from ICE Training Company or Personal Defense Network. I'm not sure if they make them from Smith & Wesson.
These ones, the Trijicon.
Yeah, the Trijicon night sights. HDs
are more like straight up and down.
Yeah, that's one thing that I need to change on this. Another thing, we were gonna talk about some other stuff, but since we're talking about guns, when you are buying a firearm, I guess we see this in our shop, or I've seen it in a range too. When you buy a firearm for, say, your grandma or someone that's old, and you think that she won't be able to manipulate it, like as in push the magazine release and stuff, and rack it, so you get her a smaller gun like this shield, something small, rather than something big like that Glock 19. Glock 19. I will say, if she's not planning on carrying the thing, give her the biggest gun you can get.
Especially like not for a carry gun, but like a home defense gun.
Yeah.
There's a couple different reasons for that. Is one, the mass of the gun's going to absorb the recoil more than a smaller gun. So for that purpose, it's better. You're going to be able to maintain on target better. It's going to be actually less recoil, or less perceived recoil transferred to you as an individual.
Another thing is, you don't, so like we were talking with that slide lock to the rear, when you load your gun like a home defense firearm, you can do this for that individual. You can do that. It's loaded. Put it in said lock box or whatever, and tell her if you ever need to use it, it's good to go. Grab it, start pulling the trigger. She does not need to do this. If she cannot end the fight, or if she's in a fight where she needs to reload, like you're talking with a Glock 17 or these new race guns, you can get 17 rounds. Some of them, the new SIG comes with 22, 21 round mags. Yeah. So 22 rounds in a firefight for a older individual or a weaker individual, that's a lot of ammo. And especially if you're teaching them to defend their home in a not clearing the house like SWAT type thing.
I will say
Yeah.
that one thing to counter that is when I did that defensive force on force class through the house, one of the last drills we did was we couldn't move around and clear the house initially. We needed to stay barricaded, or we could possibly move to another room. And in that situation, where I could not move around as much as on the other ones, I actually went through 2 magazines in that actual engagement, to where in the other ones I probably went through half to 3/4 of a magazine. So having a spare magazine is always a good thing. You don't know how many rounds it's going to take to end the fight, but like Mitch was saying, especially if a house gun, you can have an extended magazine in it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter because you're not trying to carry it.
Now, the reason why I carry a spare magazine for my concealed carry weapon is because if that gun fails, like you get a double feed of something really freaking crazy, it is easier to, well, first you'll either have to rip that magazine out and discard it, clear your weapon, and then grab another one and put it in. That's one reason why I carry it. Not to shoot more rounds into an ambiguous area. It's to get my weapon back up and running if that magazine in it does fail. Now, like I was saying, even if the individual doesn't have the dexterity in their hands, or they don't have it in their hands where they can grab stuff and rack it or push buttons, you can always do a rack off yourself or off furniture, especially if you get the right side. So
a good thing to be able to rack off.
If you're looking at getting a weapon for an individual who you think might not have the dexterity or the muscles to control it, get the biggest one possible. Put some actual sights on
realistically, not you don't need a fucking
you don't need an
FNX 45 tactical.
Yes. Yeah. Stick with 9mm.
Another advantage with that is having a full size handgun. You're gonna have generally a larger magazine capacity without having to go out and buy extended magazines or adding base plates or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have more rounds ready to go.
Yeah. So get the biggest one possible. Load it for them if they can't rack the slide, and have as minimal safeties as possible, like passive safeties, and quick access safe is another thing I'd add. And all that, if you're looking at getting a firearm for home protection, or a lot of people say they come in, hey, I need this for protection, and I kind of want to say I kind of want to tell them, if you own the house and you're wanting to protect your house, upgrade your doors, your windows, and your locks before you go out and spend almost $500 on a gun. If you're worried about safety that much, to where you need a pistol or a rifle.
Although those things can fail.
They will, yeah, they'll definitely fail. But what gets me is people will come in, or like my dad, for instance, he's like, I need a gun for self-defense, and I'm like, yeah, you could spend you could spend more money on the door first, or like a cousin or whatever. Like, it helps if you lock your doors. That prevents people from getting in also. So do those measures, and then after you have that grounded down, then look at purchasing a firearm. Because you do yourself, like, if you leave so say it is your home gun that you're going to leave there, and you don't lock your doors, and someone comes in and grabs said firearm and uses it in a crime, you could be charged for aiding and abetting a criminal because you didn't lock your door and they used it in a crime. So lock your doors and upgrade your house if you need to. What's the next thing that we want to talk about? That's kind of our quick tangent right there on that. Also, where you do your reloads. So we were talking about this workspace reload, which would be, we keep dropping his name, Travis Haley, because he's actually good.
Lots of guys reload from the workspace.
So it is right here in front of your face. Take a magazine right there, racking or pushing slide, lock, and pushing out. The other one is a high compress ready reload. So gun goes dry, come back to pretty much center your chest. Don't need to look at your gun. Put magazine in, come over, rack. The reason why we taught this one is because if you say you don't push that magazine release right here, and say you push it up here, your magazine is going to go out like an inch. where here you saw gravity pushing it down, and it's always going to be pointed. For us, it was pointed always down at the berm rather than at our ceilings. That's another reason why they taught it, or why I had to teach it, taught it. Anyways, the workspace reload, I will say, you have eyes on your firearm, and even if you are looking through said firearm at your target, you can still pick up in your peripheral vision, granted if you don't have tunnel vision or anything like that, and if it is messed up, you can still stick it in there. And when you come over, and you can rack or whatever, there's been studies that say when you're here reloading, you don't need to look at your firearm, you know where it is because of tactile reference and all this, and you just put it in there and rack it. So that's the next debate that we're going to talk about.
I think both ways are good, and they both have pros and cons. Not really so many cons to either one of them. Both are very viable options.
They both work. We will say that. They both work.
I think it also depends on how your body's built for that.
Yeah.
I personally do not like the reload from the high compress ready. Just the way I'm round right now, so it doesn't. Honestly, I can't reload as fast from the high compress ready as I can from my workspace. It's just because I've trained to reload from that space. Another thing I like about it is I'm pretty sure if we were to time a high compress ready versus workspace reload, I can get my gun up faster. Just because I'm not bringing it down so far and having to punch it back out. I'm having to take my magazine further out, but at the same time, once it's here, you're still pressing it back out.
Yeah. There is one thing I will say. So, the main people I see using the workspace reloads are usually, I haven't seen as much in law enforcement, like as in beat cops using, workspace reloads are here. I've seen it in military personnel, usually special forces would be a preference to it, or even like your basic infantry. And one reason why I can come up with an explanation why they teach this, because it's in the Marine Corps, CMC, marksmanship coach, PowerPoint, is they're reloading their Berettas like way out here, actually, like way out here, not like closer, just all the way extended. The reason why I'm making this point is if you are wearing a plate carrier and you have two mags sticking out right here, and then you also have your plates, which will go right there. I am about as big as Cody.
Yep.
And I don't have arms as long or anything crazy. If I were to do this, come back to the high compress ready, and try to shove a magazine from my belt or from here up in there, I have to deal with all that junk in the front. So that's why a high compressed that's where I would not use a high compressed ready reload. When you're concealed carrying, I would try to keep it as consistent as possible with all your training.
Another thing to take into consideration is from behind cover. You might not have the option to do it from either way for whatever reason. I think high compressed ready would be from cover is more viable a lot of the time. Just because of how you are positioned. So it definitely worked both ways.
It does work. If you are practicing it in it, I'd try the other way and see which one you're more proficient at. Then pick one and stick with it. Now I'm not gonna. The only reason why when I'm teaching a class and I'll tell someone don't do the high compressed ready reload is if we are outside on an open range. Specifically in the United States, not in like government facilities where you have an open range, like they shoot artillery in 6 miles of dead area. But a civilian range, gun pointed up in the sky, and your finger could be still in the trigger because you don't train that much. Stick that magazine in, rack it, boom, just shot Timmy. Yeah, that's one reason why I do. And also in competitions, there's a video of Jerry Michalek. They're in Europe shooting a shotgun, I guess, stage. Anyways, it's either his wife or his daughter shooting, and then they come down for their reload. Barrel is pointed over the berm. Range is dead, and they're disqualified. That person was disqualified from that shoot, from that stage.
And that's
a mere safety thing. That's all it is.
Not something I'd take into consideration for personal defense.
Yeah.
But it is something you need to be cognizant of depending on where you're shooting at, range-wise.
I will say if you were in that critical incident and you are in that life and death situation, get your gun up, fix it. That's the best way to do it. Because, you might be pointing up at Jesus, but you're still going to be able to see him, later on because you saved your own life.
Say you're in a multi-story apartment complex, you're in a hotel. It just depends. The layout of the building is one might be safer than the other. So right now, where we're sitting right now, workspace reload is safer than high compress ready, just because of where we're at in the building.
Yep.
If we're on the second floor, depending on which way
we're orientated.
We're oriented.
Okay.
Orientated means north.
Orient is Eastern Europe, not China. Sorry. All right. Where we're facing.
It varies. Yeah. So right now, facing this way, in this particular setup, high compress ready would not be safe. Facing the opposite way, high compress ready would be more safe, just because of how the layout is and how the buildings surrounding us are. So something to pay attention to.
Another thing. Gosh, I was gonna say something. Had it. So one thing that usually an instructor should teach you is muzzle awareness.
Definitely.
Even if it is loaded and unloaded, is that. But with your taking into account what Cody was saying, depending on where you are at, it is safer to do a workspace reload or a high compress ready reload. The thing is with that, even when you are reloading, like you're in that critical incident, and you reload, and you're just, I don't know, it's, keep in mind where your barrel's pointed, especially during your dry fire practice and all that crap. Also, that's what it was. In your home, so say we're here, and there is a critical incident, we also can't modify the room in any way, shape, or form to prevent projectiles from penetrating other rooms. Now, in your home, crazy cool
steel on your walls.
Steel on your walls. In your home, crazy thing that I just became aware of is buy a bookshelf and put a whole bunch of books in it and pack it tight. So, your 90-degree offset on your house. Person comes in here, you defend yourself. Behind that person is a bookshelf. Going along, so if that bookshelf wasn't there, the bullets would pass through, going onto the rest of your house or in your neighbor's yard. With that bookshelf, packed tightly with cookbooks, encyclopedias, crap no one reads right now because we have the internet, pack it full. It will prevent your projectiles from penetrating the rest of your house. Should prevent it.
Depending on the caliber and everything. Yeah. If your layout allows for that, that's a good option.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, neither did I. I saw it on a video.
So that's something. Yeah. It depends if you're in a static position defending a loved one or just yourself in a room, and you're not going out and clearing your house, which it is, depending on the layout of your house, it is almost impossible sometimes to clear your house because you're going to be working in a circle. You don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. What's the next thing? We were going to talk about lateral movement. We discussed this before we came on. The lateral movement thing, when you are in a critical incident, after this, it's a flinch response, so big boom, that, and then you're like, I need my gun, where is he? Clear your garment, grab your firearm, fully extend. In that time, I've always told people to take at least a body width step away in left or right on the axis of your against the axis of threat. So what that means is you're being shot at here. I'm going to move this way while I'm doing all of this extending and stuff. Mainly when you're not shooting, move. That's the main thing that we're trying to get to. One area where this is not applicable, as well I would say, is with the team. So Cody.
Yeah.
Since he did the class on it, more recent class, last time I went to MCT was freaking 3 years ago, so stuff has changed. He went to a class no more than
it was less than 6 months.
Less than 6 months ago.
It was less than 4 months.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's pretty.
So anyway, it's fresh.
It depends. So if you have multiple guys that you're going to be working around, things you have to take into consideration is if you get off that X and move, and your other buddies aren't doing the same thing because of how they're positioned, blah blah blah, whatever, you could be stepping into someone's line of fire as they're presenting up to take that shot. Is there a way to train around this? Probably. I'm not aware of, at least what I've done. I'm sure there's guys out there who teach this. Just not in my training have I experienced it. To where you are in a team, or not necessarily in a team, but with somebody else, to where you're going to get off that X and move laterally or against that person, because you could be stepping into the other person's field of fire. So that is something to take into consideration also. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. It'd be something interesting to work on. I don't know how exactly you would want to do it. Did you just draw something?
Yeah, so what I drew was a tactical column. Ooh, there's a tactical column. It's fed by a fire team. 4 people. Anyways, 4 people getting contact in front. Now how this is taught is you take so you first engage with fire superiority, right? Shooting. And then you bound forward to where pretty much looks like this, only everyone is on a line, and we're in online shooting, and then from there you bound against the threat. Now, when you are getting contact like this, and the bad guys start shooting, and you are in front, and you move laterally, you could possibly be moving into their fire. That's why I would not suggest it in a team environment.
Another thing, I mean, even if you're not in a team, if you're in, say, the mall.
Yeah.
Do you know you're the only guy with a gun? The only big guy with a gun? So you need to be aware of your surroundings. Now, I'm not saying that this should stop you from doing this lateral movement, and I know it's hard to be aware of what's going on behind you when you're so focused on that tunnel vision and something in front of you.
You're still in that flinch response where your brain is actually, your eyes are taking in more light, and your brain is trying to process all of it and basically make it a cognitive action.
But I'm not aware of any shooting that's ever occurred to where, in the civilian world, where this has happened.
Yeah.
So it might not be as big of a deal in this civilian world as we're making
it out to be. Where there's multiple shooters? Or
where there's multiple responders.
Now, yes, there's been, I haven't read a case where there's multiple responders, and that's why the individual shot themselves. I will say there has been cases where the knife attack in, somewhere up cold, north. Oh man, I think it's Dakota. There's a knife attack, a guy running around in security guard outfit, running around with knife, trying to stab people, right? Right behind him, IDPA shooter, or USPS. This is why don't like shooting sports, by the way, is running around full extension after said security guard.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That looks very bad for that IDPA USPS guy with his gun full extension at said security guard. If I was a cop and I walked in the middle of that, I would probably shoot at the wrong guy. I'd probably misidentify. Definitely. Even if he is saying whatever, yeah, I'd misidentify pretty quickly. I will say, what I have taught is, so you draw your firearm in said critical incident, and you don't know, well, you know where the threat is. Shoot said threat, immediately come back to the stool position. Like, just right here. Pointing the gun down at the ground. Arms out a little bit to where you're protecting it. And don't be looking like a threat. That's the main thing. If you're here, it's considered a less threatening posture.
Yeah, posture.
But yeah, don't be waving your gun out.
Another thing, if you're moving, depending on how the building's laid out, this comes into play a lot. If you're moving, you're to contact whatever. This is how I move, with my gun up here. Now, not a multiple-story building where there's people above me. Maybe gun down here might be safer if there's nothing below me. Maybe the safest thing is moving from here. It just depends. But if there's people around me and I'm not in a multi-story building with people above me, I'm going to move from here.
Now, keep in mind how high his firearm is to his head.
Mm-hmm.
When you're running,
See,
it's touching, you have that index on your head. What I have seen in videos, it was I think it was a Viking Tactics. Anyways, their pistols were lower on their bodies, and they were not touching.
Honestly, I think
they were lower, and they were running, and said firearm was like this, pointing at their head. Not smart. If you do that, keep it high and keep it not moving. Keep it not pointing at your head also.
And a good reference point, what I found is the brim or this band of your hat is taking your fingers and finding that with your thumb. And there's no way, where my muzzle is right here, with my thumb right in there, or contacting my ear, putting this part of my thumb against my ear, same thing. It's pretty safe.
One thing that I've seen in ranges before is they want all of your muzzles pointed up, even rifles, which is good. There's no people up. Well, usually there's no people above you. I'll say that usually.
Depending on the shoot house.
Yeah, depending. I am a big proponent of keeping your muzzle pointing down, because even if you do pull the trigger negligently or accidentally, however you want to say it, where the gun mysteriously goes off, because they don't do that usually. Anyways, so say you pull the trigger and it goes bang.
320.
Yeah, the rounds will go down into the floor. I have seen a Spalding pattern from a 1911. The guy was trying to decock it at the Wichita Gander Mountain. If you guys have ever been in there, you see the wall. Can't see it now because it's shut down, but the wall has Spalding on it from a 45 FMJ, full metal jacket, going into the concrete floor, ripping up the carpet, hitting the wall, hitting our desk, I should say. So our desk was like here, bullet came in here, hit here, spalled. The guy was literally standing like 3 feet away from it while the guy was decocking it, and we have a live range you can walk into anytime. Like, stupid. Anyways, decocking said 1911, goes bang. Spalding pattern misses this guy by like freaking 6 inches. Crazy. That's one thing. Bullets will fragment off concrete floors.
Or any hard surface.
Yeah, even sheetrock. I've seen it. There's a video on the Personal Defense Network, Proper Use of Cover. Rob fragments stuff off sheetrock. Kind of crazy. But yeah, I've always, like, even if you're out on, well, in Kansas we have a lot of open places where we shoot. definitely muzzle down. That's how I prefer, because this actual dirty will take an impact. What else? Oh yeah, public safety announcement. If you are in a gun shop and you if you're in any shop, we'll go with that, or anywhere where there's a live range like really close, it would be who of you to ask that RSO or whatever to see if you can go in there and clear your firearm so you don't put a hole in your car or in people's buildings. We've had that happen too. Not at this new shop, but at my old work at Gander. People literally
Also,
shot their car in the parking lot.
Please don't pull your gun out and show it to me.
When we have one in the case, SDV, Smith & Wesson SD9 VE, yeah, we have them in the case. Don't, what is it called? Don't brandish your firearm in my shop, please, or in our shop.
Please don't.
Please,
do that.
Just ask us. We're ask whoever the clerk is that you're working with. Be like, hey, can I show you my firearm? It is loaded. I can clear it for you. And they'll probably be like, yes, go ahead and clear it and show us your firearm.
Or we have one of those right back here. I'll grab the unloaded one.
Yeah.
Which is what I would prefer to do.
Mm-hmm.
It just negates the chance of anything happening.
There's a YouTube video on, gun store etiquette. Yeah, watch that before you go shopping.
I think this is a pretty good place to end.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm Mitchell from Mayday Arms.
I'm Cody from KGSG.
Thank you. Please subscribe. I'll try to do more of these said podcasts, and probably not with Cody all the time, but more of them. And we'll do some more discussion. Cody's channel is mainly dedicated to gear. I'd say.
What I'm trying to do right now with is I'm starting to try and do, how do I describe this? Not only concealed carry, but just stuff for big guys. So there's a lot of good stuff on the internet for average frame guys, and in my experience, a lot of that doesn't work with bigger dudes. So one of the new focuses on my channel, besides gear reviews and firearm reviews and stuff like that, is going to be trying to figure out what does and doesn't work for bigger dudes.
And I will say this, it's not just overweight individuals. If you are like I said, bodybuilder or some huge guy, you still can't carry in certain areas. I will say that. Or if you are a bodybuilder and you flex a lot, if you ever try to like bend and like lift something and your muscles stay like pumped, because that's how you train them to do, like stay flexed, that will also, like, this channel will help you with that, like help you work around it. Mine, it's still in the works. We're still building it. I'm going to try to focus it on training type things, but I will still have gear. Do you want to show them anything real quick? If you want to look at anything, go to Cody's channel. He has most of it online. It's KG space SG on YouTube. Mine is Mayday Arms, all caps. Thank you very much, and have a great day. Please like and subscribe down below. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, put them in the comments. That's why it's there. That's it. All right.
Thanks,
have
guys.
a great day.